But Jennifer Mann here tonight, and very honored to welcome you to an important occasion. Wow, that worked pretty quickly. Before we get started, we have a very special guest joining us tonight. He's traveled some way. I think it was easier for Eugene to get here from Harrisburg than it was for me to get here from the west end of Allentown. Whose idea was this to make me come across town?
My bad.
Today we're lucky to have some local elected officials. We thank you for your support of Pete and Mike. From Allentown City Council, we have Jeff Glazier, Candida, and also from Allentown City Council, Candida Apple. Lehigh County Commissioners Jeff Brace and Dan Hartzell. From Allentown School Board, we have Audrey Matheson and Liz Martinez. And if I've missed any other electeds, I'll try to get you later. As I mentioned, we're here to celebrate an exciting time in any elected official's political life, and that's that commitment to say, I want to continue serving my community. And I've been very, very proud of both the state representatives who represent our great city in Harrisburg, Mike Schlossberg and Pete Schweyer. I think you all know how close the three of us are, and I couldn't be more proud of the job that they have done in Harrisburg. We're so lucky to have them working for us. You look out there today, especially when you see the impasse and the poor representation from across the Commonwealth. We've got the best there is. But even, and so much so, that our State Auditor General, Eugene DePasquale, has traveled, as I mentioned, about an hour and a half to be here this evening, and I think that says a couple things about Eugene. One, it says what he thinks of both Pete and Mike, that he would take the time and do that round trip just to be a part of this campaign re-election launch this evening. But it also speaks to Eugene's character. I was fortunate enough to know Eugene when he was a Deputy Secretary at DEP. Then he became a colleague of mine in the State House, and then decided to spread his wings and has served us these past 4 years as our Auditor General. I have worked closely with him in that capacity, both when I was in office and out, because Eugene has really been, he has been a real watchdog for us, the taxpayers, for Pennsylvanians, and holding folks accountable. If I remember correctly, Eugene, it's about $100 million your office has succeeded in identifying and savings for taxpayers. He has been a leader on education issues, on energy issues, and I'm excited to say he's decided to run for a second term in that office as our Auditor General, and happy to continue to support his efforts. And again, knowing that he's got a statewide run on his hands to come to Allentown to support Pete and Mike, we're really appreciative. So folks, your Auditor General, Eugene DePasquale.
Thank you, Jen, and we did serve together in the House, and it was, and partly touting Mike and Pete, I want to go back a little bit to when Jen and I were in the House together. It was a couple-year period, 2 terms, when we served together, and we were actually able to do great things for the people of the state on alternative energy, education funding, a whole host of issues. Healthcare, passed a ban on mandatory overtime in healthcare. We put more dollars into schools. I know Allentown was one of the big recipients of that. We were able to do a lot of things for the people of Pennsylvania. In 2010, Pennsylvania was the only state in the country that improved in education test scores in every age category, in every subject tested. We were the only ones. Don't clap too soon, because then the 2010 election happened. And I'm a pragmatic person. I'm a strong Democrat. You know, I believe I'm a good, strong, progressive Democrat, but I'm also a pragmatic person. If you tell me this is going to work, and I see evidence that it's working, likely I'm going to take it seriously to keep trying it. Well, here's what happened in 2011 budget. Tom Corbett saw all the things that were working and said, let me change all of it. And that's one of the reasons why I ran for office general. And that's one of the things that Pete and Mike are trying to work with Governor Wolf to try to fix right now. So I conduct audits all over the state, agencies, school audits, both charter school and your traditional public school. It's a mess out there. It's a mess. The underfunding issue, the infrastructure issue for our schools. We got one big school district coming out real soon. It's a nightmare on the infrastructure of this school. The underfunding, forcing local property taxes to go up. Meanwhile, the kids aren't getting the necessary education. That's what one of the things Mike and Pete are working with me as allies to try to fix. On health care, we found the Corbett administration wasn't even enforcing the ban on mandatory overtime in our healthcare facilities, risking patients, risking healthcare workers. Mike and Pete have been an ally to try to fix that. On jobs, the state had been spending a lot of money on job creation without doing anything to make sure that those actual jobs were being created. Our audit uncovered that. Mike and Pete have been allies to try to get the Department of Community and Economic Development to change their ways to make sure that if taxpayer money is going into job creation, we need to make sure that actual jobs are being created. And this is final thing that, not that they haven't been allies in other issues, but a final major issue that I know is big in Lehigh Valley. The Department of Environmental Protection, their oversight of the gas drilling was so poor that we had to offer 27 recommendations of what needed to be done to fix it, to make sure that our drinking water is safe. They've been a tremendous advocate in making sure, and your Governor Wolf is certainly implementing a lot of those recommendations well, in making sure that with all the drilling that's going on with Marcellus Shale, making sure that our environment is not being harmed in the process. They are two stand-up people. They're fighting for you every single day. And I'm honored to be here. Now, in full disclosure on the travel, because Jen brought up the travel issue, I just got to put all my cards on the table. My daughter had a sleepover last night in the inner city York. It took me longer to get her there because of the side street issues than it was to get here on 30 and 222. So I just want to say, I commend her giving me the shout out for getting here, but actually, I know traversing city streets right now, that's the bigger challenge. And God bless everyone that's out there already starting to get the petitions, because as someone that had an inner city district, when we got pounded in 2010, getting up and down those row homes for the signatures, that's true dedication. So I appreciate everybody taking some time out with the weather to be here. I know it's a little warmer, less snow in here. Today was probably not as bad weather, but elections have consequences. This is the final thing I want to leave you with here, and telling why it's important to keep Mike and Pete in the State House. Elections have consequences. What happened in 2010 and 2014, both the good and bad of it, they have consequences. And part of politics is you can't really take any elections off, because when you do, bad things happen. And every time you think your opponent can't win, that's when you're in trouble. So even if you look around and say, nobody can touch Mike, nobody can touch Pete, there have been too many times in our political history where we've seen that if you take the election for granted, anything could happen. So today begins their re-election effort. They both need your help, knocking on the doors, pounding the pavement, continue to fight, not just for Allentown, but for the greater Lehigh Valley area, because I know, at least from Mike's point of view, his district isn't just the city. I think Pete, you have an entire the city, but still, it's important also to think about the whole region as well, because when this whole region does well, it's a real critical driver for the state of Pennsylvania. So they've been friends of mine for a long time. I appreciate their service, their attitude on being pragmatic, get it done in politicians, elected officials. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to be here today to support my friends Mike and Pete from Thank you for